How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you, badass?
Steve says very nice things about you for sure. And
Mm.
immediately when you get online, I'm like, 2012 was right behind you. I
Oh,
did it.
really?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did? At
Of
the World
course.
Championships?
Yeah. No, I wasn't there. You were there. You
Oh,
were there.
yes,
But
yes. But I thought maybe you went the year behind me.
oh no, not yet. Maybe one day. I'm definitely an athletic minded person, but I tend to pick things up and put them down rather than go for long distances.
Mm,
Yeah.
gotcha.
It's nice to
All
meet you.
right. Well, you look pretty buffed.
I'm
Oh,
trying before I hit 50 and everything.
well, I'm
Yeah.
57, so I'm trying even
Oh
harder.
my gosh, you don't even look close to it at all.
Thank you,
Good for
thank you,
you.
thank you,
Amazing.
thank you.
I know a lot about your story and I can't get the lighting right. I'm in Lebanon today. I'm in the Mideast and this particular apartment, the lighting's not the best. So just bear with me. Let me give you the context of Try Life On and why you are so perfect to speak to the folks who are in the community and to my audience and all that type of stuff.
Mhm.
Most of the people who listen to the Try Life On podcast or do my coaching or read the blogs and the newsletters and the posts that I put on LinkedIn and stuff like that, they are all just like me and you. They are all
Mhm.
the longtime corporate exec or longtime mom or the executive vice president who's kind of langering in cube land or somebody who's doing something totally artistic, but they want to go into corporate. It doesn't matter. The direction doesn't matter. It's just all people who want to try life on in a particular way. They are afraid to jump. They are
Mm.
wired a certain way. You know this very well with the neuroscience that you kind of back your coaching on and things of that nature. We've all gone through 20, 30 years of formal education telling us what to be, how to operate, what success looks like, get the title, do this, keep up the Joneses, all that type of stuff. In my journey, I'm going to steal your term. I did my own relative to self badassery for myself. I was
Mm.
25 years corporate, 22 years military at the same time as a federal agent, 15 years midnight street cop at the same time,
Mhm. Mhm.
real estate at the same time for 27 years, traveled to 100 countries at the same time. And it's not tried out for the NFL twice, it acted on movies and TV shows. It wasn't like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm doing all these things to show that I can do all these things. No, it was very much what you talk about, which is having my expansion moment. I heard about your expansion moment, which I'll bring up later,
Mm.
and recognizing that we have the capacity to do whatever it is that we want, whatever we want to try on. And here's another person who is I don't have the market cornered on this stuff. You are another great example of somebody who wanted to do something radically different. You ran that marathon. I heard you, or excuse me, that you went to the World Championship, and I heard you call it on a different podcast, or maybe your ultra endurance moment in South Africa, or maybe it was the World Championship, maybe. But you called it an expansion moment.
Mhm.
Can you explain that and then talk a little bit about your journey because it's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
There's been many expansion moments, but
yeah,
that one at the Ironman World Championships was the beginning and biggest one.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But why did you do that? Like what pushed you? I think at the time you were still in corporate, I think.
Hmm.
What pushed you to do that, and what was the driver for you to go that route?
Ah, so this is a great story, perfect for your
Yeah.
show. When I was 14,
Mm,
I was athletic, but in a recreational capacity.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was scrolling through the channels on the weekend one day, and I came upon Wide, Wide World of Sports.
Oh
And
man. The old
yeah,
ABC
does
thing,
that
yeah.
take you back? Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
No doubt.
hmm And they were covering the Ironman World Championships.
Mm,
So
mm,
this is the year that Julie Moss and Kathleen McCartney competed. It was very dramatic, and there's YouTube coverage of it, that's out there today that anybody can access.
mm,
And I had no idea what this thing was. I didn't know about the Ironman. I didn't know about triathlons. I didn't know about any of that stuff.
mm-hmm,
But I was immediately transfixed. I just stopped dead in my tracks.
mm,
And then I couldn't tear myself away. I was like, what the hell is this thing? Why is this woman putting herself through this? It
Right.
looked like torture to me. Um, but something kept her going. I mean,
Hmm.
and she would collapse and then push herself up to crawling
Hmm.
and then push herself up to walking and standing and then running a bit before she would collapse again. She also
Wow.
lost all control of her bowels.
Wow.
And yet she still
Still, she
continued
went. Yeah.
and finished,
Yeah.
even though right at the end, Kathleen McCartney overtakes her for the win.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Doesn't make it any less for
dramatic.
her. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened for me was, as I was watching this thing unfold, I started to cry. And I realized the reason I was crying is because I felt that I had deep inside me what it took to do the Ironman World Championships, to do something that big, that audacious, that ridiculous. And I
Hmm.
wasn't tapping into it. I
You
was
felt
just
it
living this
instinctively? Did you
small,
have these
safe life.
you were living a small,
Mm-hmm.
safe life and something started
Yep.
gnawing at you?
Yep.
I
It
think a
was
lot of
my
people have,
potential.
yes, and a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and Karen, a lot of people, so talk about that because a lot of people have that inkling, that urge. My story is just one story, but it was age 28. I got the urge to be a police officer. Age
Mm-hmm.
33, I was a rookie police officer in the middle of the night, but I was still a corporate exec during the day. So I was doing both. But I listened to my voice. It was every time I would see a take-home car in somebody's driveway, I would look.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would get this emotion inside of me, like, I think I'm supposed to do that. I think I'm supposed to do that. And it just
Yes.
kept eating at me. And I
Mm-hmm.
decided to listen to that voice.
Yep.
You decided to listen to your voice, but so many people don't. Why do you think that there's people like you and I, and there's nothing wrong with it because it's a hard thing to do to jump, to grow your wings on the way down and all that type of stuff. But why do you
Mm-hmm.
think certain people are wired to listen to it and other people are wired to ignore those instinctive voices?
I know exactly why.
Mm,
So, after decades of doing things simultaneously, like you have,
yeah.
becoming um, a subject matter expert in the world of behavioral neuroscience,
Hmm.
leadership, or executive leadership, development and behavior, linguistics, and being a senior leader myself, also building my real estate portfolio on the
Yes, I noticed.
side.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I feel you.
Yeah, so I know the science of what holds us back.
Okay.
And it actually was something that I experienced in my own journey, which
Mm,
was that was at age 14 when I heard that voice, I felt that voice. And yes, I did pay attention to it, but
mm.
then I shoved it aside. I quelled it for 24 years. And the reason that I did,
Wow.
yep, yep,
Wow.
this is what every
This is
human
what so
being
many so
does
many
this.
people are doing it. Yes, yes, yes,
Every
yes.
human being does this. And I'll tell you
Mhm.
why. So it's something called limiting beliefs, which
Mhm.
is nothing more than a behavioral pattern. Okay. That's all the work that we do with executives and leaders of all types, whether you're leading yourself or you're leading a team or you're leading a corporation.
Mhm.
All of our brains work the same way. And that is to say, they all work in behavioral patterns. And it goes back to prehistoric days when we were, having to forage and catch our own food and living in caves and all of that. And we were trying
Mhm.
to survive another day. Okay.
Mhm.
So our brain evolved, specifically our unconscious and subconscious level brain
Yeah.
evolved to protect us, to keep us safe, to help us survive another day.
Mhm.
So it started developing behavioral patterns to save energy, just like our cell phones do, right? Because we have a limited amount of energy to expend every day
That's it.
before we're going to die, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So what happens is our brain automatically sets up behavioral patterns to get us what we want.
Mhm.
It's as simple as that, or to protect us from something, right?
Mhm.
Something that we perceive as new, different, or dangerous. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just continues to run that behavioral pattern
Mhm.
until we wake up to it and then go, oh, no, wait, I don't want to run that pattern. This is what I actually want. And so,
Mhm.
what is the new pattern that I need to run that will get me there? So, limiting
Mhm.
beliefs are nothing more than a behavioral pattern. And they go like this. This is
Mhm.
how it worked for me. When
Mhm.
I thought about competing in the Ironman World Championships,
Mhm.
immediately I would think, well, I'm just a recreational athlete. I'm down here. The athletes that compete in the Ironman World Championships are elite. A lot of
Mhm.
them are pros. They're up here. They're the best in the world. I'm down here. They're up here. There's no way I'm going to be able to get there.
Mm. Mm.
That is a limiting belief. And we
That is a
all
limiting
walk
belief.
around, yeah, we all walk around with many of them, some more than others, and some
Yeah.
are very specific to certain endeavors.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
But
if it's a go for it. Go for
go
it. Go
ahead.
for it. Well, I was gonna say,
But
but if it's a belief, beliefs can be changed.
yes, they can be transformed. Yes.
Right. Right.
So I learned. So I was sitting in a class, a business class in 2010,
Mm.
and we started to learn about neuroscience and behavioral patterns and how our brains work and how to change our patterns. And boom, all of a sudden, the light bulb shined above my head, and I went, oh, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This is it. This
Yeah.
is what has held me back from the Ironman World Championships, from the life that I feel and know that I am meant to live for 24 years. And I thought, I am done with that. I am done with
Mm.
that. I am transforming these limiting beliefs right now. So that class was in June.
Mm-hmm.
By September, I had hired a coach. I had
Mm-hmm.
purchased a triathlon bike, and I jumped into training for the Ironman World Championships. And
Amazing.
then by using the
Amazing.
same neuroscience, transforming my behavioral patterns, I crossed the finish line in Kona 2 years later.
Just 2 years of training.
2 years. Yeah.
I I think this conversation is timely. I want to tell you why. 2 years ago, so I've always been, but without knowing all this, I know this stuff now. Okay. You know
Mm,
it better than me because you actually study. I think I'm learning it more from being around people who have studied it and then reflecting
mm,
on my own journey and knowing what I did and didn't do. Um,
mhm.
I knew it instinctively, but 2 years ago, some personal stuff happened and it led me to read Joseph Murphy, Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Mm.
I always say the 1963 edition of Dr. Joseph Murphy, Power of Subconscious Mind. I've talked about it so much on this podcast. I think people think this podcast is about Joseph Murphy, but it's that powerful. It's that awareness moment that we
Mhm.
have our subconscious, we have our conscious mind, which only absorbs a certain amount of information, but the subconscious is absorbing so much stuff. And it's
Mhm.
actually the subconscious that's doing more of the things that drive us in our life than our conscious minds.
Yep. Yep.
Every single high performer I run into, you being the latest one, other people I've talked to, Nelson Dallas came. I really like this guy. Nelson Dallas came on my podcast, and he's a six-time memory champion. And he started to
Mm.
rewire his mind when his grandmother developed epilepsy, started having
Ah.
seizures, and then she developed Alzheimer's. And he was like, why is the brain doing this to her? What's in my
Mhm.
brain? And then he realized he could rewire his mind. And then he started to teach himself how to memorize things. He's like, so we can rewire ourselves at any point that we want to. And every
Mhm.
single high performer knows that they are wiring
Mhm.
themselves a particular way,
Yep.
creating uh, habits, which then create or neural pathways create habits, or maybe the other way around. It's just
Yep.
uncanny. But I think in society, I practice mental diets and controlling my environment a lot. There's
Mhm.
so much noise. There's social media, traditional media, your friends who will never let you progress, your coworker, the
Mhm.
boss who's saying, look, if you get the executive VP, everybody will tell you that you're the best person, but I need you to come to every happy hour so people can see you around and things of that nature. There's so
Mhm.
much noise that people can't find this. They can't hear it. They can't even hear their own voice. And here's another person, amazing person saying, it's there, and it's something that we can rewire. And I think that's what you kind of help people do in your current business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rewire and initially bring it out.
And bring it
Bring
out.
out
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
authentic voice. Yeah, yeah. That's essentially how we build badass leaders, right?
Yeah.
Badasses are built. They are not born. And whether
Mm,
you're leading yourself, you're leading a team, or you're leading a company, it's all the same thing,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
have to bring out your full badass, that badass that is authentic,
mm,
100% authentic with everybody. They can shut down a lot of the noise and filter it out. And they have that mindset of continuous improvement and growth. Hey, I
mm-hmm,
want to be the best I can be. I want to tap into my unlimited potential and I want to bring that to bear.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. When you, so I was listening to a interview you were on. You talked about the Ironman World Championship. By the way, I'm in awe of that. You're
Thank
motivating
you.
me. That's not easy. Like, I don't think people realize what it actually is. It's not normal for a human to do that. So you are a badass. That's some crazy shit. But you also, I believe you started your business around that time. You got inspiration to start um Exponential Results, I think it's called. You got inspiration to start Exponential Results, or something spoke to you again, and here you are taking another leap of faith to do that. Can you just talk about the process of, I thought about it, reflected on it, acted on it, made it happen, and here, I don't know, 13 years later, people
Mhm.
get these ideas all the time, but they never act. So what was it like for you that pushed you to start your business, and how did that actually come to be?
Mm. So this also happened at the Ironman World Championships in the actual
Yeah.
race.
In the
So,
race.
in the race, so I'll set the stage for you. First of all,
Nice.
the Ironman World Championships is a 2.4 mile swim in the ocean with
Yeah.
2,000 of your closest friends, competitors, kicking you in the head during the whole swim.
Mm,
Wow, that's an experience in and of itself.
mhm,
Followed
mm.
by a 112-mile bike ride, finished with a 26.2 mile marathon.
Wow.
All done contiguously, back to back. You have 17 hours to finish. Took me 15 hours, 45 minutes, and 59 seconds. And it was the most magnificent day ever, ever.
Wow. Wow.
If you look up pictures of me crossing the finish line, you will see pure joy and bliss on my face. And it's at the end of 140.6 miles, grueling miles,
Wow.
tough, 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 tough.
Wow.
Rain, crosswinds, high heat, high humidity, competitors, you
Hmm.
name it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So as I'm heading out for the bike ride, so I've transitioned from the swim, I've gotten on my bike, and I'm heading up to the north tip of the island called Hawi, which is where the turnaround is. Bike up there, cycle up there, turn around, and come back.
Right.
So I'm on the bike, I'm heading out, and I've done plenty of training before, right? So I know that it's really all about stepping into the flow, that
Yes.
flow state, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
for me and for all of us really involves just letting your mind go free, letting your mind wander. And then what I also like to do is think about the journey to get to that particular point and everyone I came in contact with along the way.
Mm,
So
mm,
I'm thinking about that and I'm literally asking myself, okay, what should I do with all this? I am today realizing my lifelong dream. I have now become a subject matter expert in behavior, all these other things, right, that I mentioned before.
hmm,
And I have
hmm.
all this leadership experience. I'm now a senior executive leader. And I also have these other journeys in businesses, to parlay all of that with. So what am I supposed to do with all this? What am I
Hmm.
meant for? What's my purpose? So I'm asking
Hmm.
some huge questions as I'm heading out on this very long bike ride.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I heard this deep, resonant voice that said, you need to do this for other people and you
Wow.
need to write a book. eradicate limiting beliefs because nobody needs to struggle with them. It's
Wow.
literally a leftover bug in the system, in the human system.
Yep.
And you can share through sharing your experiences because you're nothing special. I mean, I really am not special. I'm not naturally gifted or talented in anything other than identifying human behavior and behavioral patterns. Okay.
Hmm.
Everything else
Hmm.
I have to work my ass off for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this voice was saying, hey, because you are so common, you're like everyone else. You're not naturally gifted or talented, and you're really not special. So you can get through to people. This is the difference you can make in the
Ah,
world.
because they would see themselves in you.
Yeah.
I love
They
it.
would relate and go,
They would
yeah,
relate.
I'm just like that.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yep.
you still, at the time, you were at the, what were you doing at the time? Just traditional W-2, traditional corporate work at the time before all this started?
At that point, I was a brand new CEO
Okay.
of a couple of real estate offices, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I wasn't doing so well at it, I'll just be honest.
Yeah. It's okay.
And I also had a couple of other businesses that I was working and just trying to trying to tap into my potential, see what
Hmm.
that was,
Hmm.
um, and bring out my full badass.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
people, Karen, they want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do it. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it so many times. I don't know. Actually, something you said that really just got under my skin, just reflecting on my own personal journey. You're right. I don't think you're just born a certain way, but I do think you can have a propensity to lead yourself. There was
Mm-hmm.
something that grabbed me when I traveled when I was 15. I went to France. I was an inner city kid, but I was seeing all this cool stuff in France. And then at age 21, I found a finance book. And then my brain pieced together, if I could create passive income from real estate, then I would have time to go back to when I was 15 to travel more and have those experiences. So then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all I'm ever going to do is buy real estate and have more experiences. And I just started acting on it. I didn't think about it
Mm-hmm.
much. I just started doing it, doing it, doing it. I guess in your
Mm-hmm.
vernacular, I was leading myself because
Yep.
my thought was like, no, my job is to build my life book. My job is to
Mm-hmm.
build experiences, relationships, and do crazy things. So I would do things like leave I was based in the DC area, although I live in the Mideast now, but leave Washington, DC on a Thursday night or on a Wednesday night, didn't tell anybody, fly to the Finnish Arctic, stay in the
Mm-hmm.
Arctic for 3 days, meet the Swami people, learn about the culture. I was fascinated by the culture. Fly back
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday night and go to work Monday, and nobody was the wiser. And my thought was
Mm-hmm.
like, the less people I tell, the less they can tell me things that tell me that I'm not supposed to do that. A black dude is not supposed to be in the Finnish Arctic, or a
Mm-hmm.
brother is not supposed to care about traveling to 100 countries, or you should just be partner at the firm. I turned down partner 4 times because like that's not my version of success. You know what I mean? So I think I had that propensity, but it's really, actually, I'm glad people are hearing this because some people can have the propensity, some people can hear it the way that your voice was telling you and you acted on it. How are you helping others recognize that voice within them or their ability in them to do the kinds of things that you and I just articulated? So you're now working with a new client or somebody brand new, and I don't blame people. There's so much noise in this world, but how are you helping people kind of unlock that beautifulness?
So through several different methods or programs, but they all use the same pattern identifier. And
Okay.
then, in that respect, being able to hold up a mirror for people
Mm,
where we point out their patterns to them from listening to them. So
mhm.
linguistics is the science of the words we use that reveal what's going on for us.
Yes.
We are all of our badass coaches are experts in linguistics and reading behavioral patterns. So we make it
Wow.
very easy and quick because you don't need to take an assessment. We don't need a personality report on you or anything like that to decipher your behavioral patterns. Then we
Wow.
can teach you how to read them, how to hear your voice. how to cut out a lot of the noise and get quiet so that you can hear it. Now, what I will say that pretty much every client we've ever worked with over 13 years, as you said, and I was even a corporate coach before then, an internal
Gotcha.
corporate coach. So,
Yep.
did that for another 20 years. And every single person I've ever worked with always has heard their internal voice. They've either heard it or felt it, and they just haven't heeded it, right? They just sort of look away or push it away and go, oh, that's scary.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't really know what to do with that. What if I did something with that? Then I'm going to have to do something else. I'm going to have to maybe quit my corporate job. I'm going to have to face some big, scary, fear-filled stuff, right?
Right.
So it's there for everybody, just in the same way that all of our brains work in the same manner. Okay.
Yep.
Now let me
Yep.
let me share these statistics with you because they are staggering. And I have a graphic if you end up wanting to show that in your show.
Yeah. Please send
Um,
it to me.
okay. I can share it right now if you want.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we'll do the video
The
version of
screen.
this too. Yeah, do
Yeah,
it. Go
cool.
for it. There should be
All
a
right.
share button down there.
Yep, got it.
You rock.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, she's coming up now. Now I got it. Yep.
Okay, all right. So just like the book that you read, this graphic is a very simplistic model of our brain. Okay, so what it's showing is top level is the conscious level. And this is where, each of us lives the majority of the time. And this
Mhm.
is where habits and behavioral expressions of patterns and blind spots are. This is where blind spots and the expression of patterns present themselves. They come forward in terms of symptoms or just things that you do, right? Like the way that you do things, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Then below that is the unconscious level, which is where behavioral patterns are formed. These
Yeah.
are expressions of unhealed emotional wounds, unconscious beliefs, and stories we form about ourselves and others based on those beliefs.
Mhm.
Then below that is the subconscious level, and we work in the unconscious and subconscious level. Um, and the subconscious level is defined as the place where we form beliefs. They're formed as a result of past hurts, traumas, and painful experiences that we live through. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
so look at the statistics on the right side of this graphic. This is where it becomes a huge multiplier and difference
Yeah.
maker for
Especially when
everyone.
you are aware of it. Especially when you're aware of
Yes.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So processing speed and volume of the conscious mind compared to the unconscious. And it's this processing volume of the conscious mind is 2,000 bits of information per second.
Which is not
Impulses,
shabby at all.
no, that sounds like a lot. Impulses travel at 100 to 150 miles an hour. That's
Mhm.
conscious level mind. Now,
Mhm.
unconscious level processing volume is 400 billion bits of information per second. Like you said, it's recording everything.
Right.
It's all in
Right.
there. Everything
Right.
we've experienced, right? Then impulses travel at up to 100,000 miles per hour.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is how this is such a multiplier, how this compounds much more rapidly the results and the effort that you're going to get turning those into results. So would you rather ride a skateboard, that kind of level thinking and that level of results and that speed, or would you rather ride a SpaceX rocket?
SpaceX rocket, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And you know what's even more powerful about this, and it kind of meshes to, again, I am not, let's say I'm not academic, but I'm definitely someone who tinkers in life and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
This notion of mental diets. So I think I was saying, I feel like I've had 10 conversations today, so I don't know what I said, but thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to shut off Instagram, Facebook. I don't watch negative movies anymore. I don't watch any movie that has killing in it. I watch romantic comedies and comedies because they have positivity and things of that nature. I rarely watch the news, although I will put major headlines in Google and just read the major headlines and then I'll shut it off. I
Mm-hmm.
started taking all these and then a kicker. If I travel a lot, so if I'm in airports and I hear conversations that I deem to be negative or not supportive of where I want to go in life, I extract myself. And
Hmm.
the moment something, I think it was because of that book, but it made sense to me that if our outer world is a function of our inner thoughts, which has a lot to do with what our unconscious and subconscious is doing, then if
Hmm.
I'm absorbing all these bits of information from these negative things, or it doesn't even have to be negative, it can be things that have nothing to do with your journey.
Yeah.
Then I'm unconsciously picking up habits that have no bearing on the goals that I have out of life. And
Right.
people said, I've never heard of a mental diet before. I said I had neither, but I was aware that we pick up things as we go. I've been doing
Yeah.
it for 2 years, and I have found that my goals have come way faster, and my
Hmm.
life has gotten that much happier. And as I saw
Hmm.
your graph, I'm like, because my unconscious and my subconscious are the bits of information, that 400 million or whatever it was, 400 billion, whatever it
400
was.
billion. Hmm.
It's all the positive. I'm getting all the positive stuff that's coming in, and I'm forming habits around positivity, and not like, I don't know, the federal government constantly fighting and arguing about, some bickering or something like that, which forms something in
Hmm.
me. So there is real value to people really paying attention to what this stuff is, but it's just not taught in schools. It's not readily available, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
you are bringing it to awareness, right? Would you agree
That
that
is
it's important?
why, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I founded the company in 2012. And
Awesome.
try this on
Awesome.
for size.
I get it
In
now. Yeah.
2012, nobody was using neuroscience or working in behavioral patterns in the subconscious mind in leadership development. Nobody.
Yeah.
Simon Sinek, Brene Brown, Adam Grant, they weren't on the scene. None of their information was out there. And so here I am, feeling like, well, yeah, I just did this huge thing. I've hacked and leveraged my own mind. I know how to do this. And I
Hmm.
know that this works for everyone because it's scientific,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And who am I, to pioneer the use of this into the leadership development space? And I kept going in a circular thinking about that, and
Mm.
always coming out the other side going, no, I am meant to do this. That's
Hmm.
why I've gone through this journey. That's why, seeing this on the wide world of sports at age 14 struck me and stuck with me. And this is all my purpose. This is what I'm meant to do and the difference I can make in the world. And so,
Yeah.
yes, it is up to me. And you know what? People are counting on me that I
Hmm.
haven't even met yet to do this. Yeah.
Well,
So pretty daunting.
my community is gonna count on you. They're gonna hear it. I I I just get fascinated, and I keep saying it, and you're the next best example. People who are aware of what they consume, people who are aware of how their minds work, tend to be the most unbelievable leaders, performers, enjoying life in a way that most can't enjoy, not because other people aren't capable. It's just
Yeah.
that we are machines in a way, and we do have mechanisms of how we work and stuff. And when you are aware of it, it allows you to try life on more. And when I heard your story and I researched you, I was like, oh, wow, she knows what she's talking. You are badass. And when you say the thing of like, who am I? I'm like, no, you're exactly the right person. It, from my perspective, and I feel this way about myself too. I think that people see in me themselves, whether it's police or
Mm.
military, or the dude from the inner city, or I'm blue collar, white collar, no collar. I don't care. I just try and get information to people. And we need people like you who are credible and have had your own journey and who actually give a shit and aren't doing it just because it's the next best thing to do. And I'm grateful you would take time and come on the podcast and educate us. And you're the right person. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely my pleasure. And
Loved being here.
if I ever get the courage, I'll reach out to you on some tips about the Ironman. But for right now, I think I'm just going to keep going to the gym and do my 20,000 steps a day. But I will go track down your photos and see what you did. But I think it's amazing.
Thank you. Hey, nobody needs to do an Ironman to have that, to
Yeah,
have that method of expanding themselves. No,
that's the thing. That's the
that's why
thing. And
we
we
do
don't have to,
what we do.
yeah. And one last point is like, everybody's definition is different. We don't have to
Mhm.
compare. Like we all of a sudden, like our whole society is like, they did it, I have to do it. They did it, I have to. No, no, you don't.
Mm.
Just create for yourself. Whatever it is
Yes.
that you want, just create for yourself. What other people did, be happy for other people. But it doesn't mean you need to go do it and people feel so much
Yeah.
pressure about it. And
Yeah.
that is us picking up patterns and picking up information and stuff. Anyways, I
Yes.
appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show. And I look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Me too, Maurice. Thank you so much. It was a blast.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful and helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. Drop a review, put some stars on it, give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it. And I want to do it for you. So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.